Hi guys. On Saturday, I watched Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Oh my gosh. I can't, guys. I feel like my brain's about to explode. There was just so much. And so, for those of you who I'm sure, because there are many of you, I'm sure, who haven't watched it, I will do a short little review without spoilers, just tell you my thoughts on the general movie without revealing anything, and then after that, I will kick you all out, or I guess try, I can't make you, and then get into the real review full of spoilers because you all know by this point I can't really talk about a movie or a book series without having extreme spoilers. I need that because otherwise I have everything I want to say inside and it just this is an outlet for me to voice all of the thoughts that I cannot voice in everyday life because I'm surrounded by people who either don't care or haven't watched the movie, so I can't talk to them about it. Anyway. Spoiler-free part. So, like I said, there was so much stuff because obviously it's the multiverse, so there's so many things happening. Like, we get to meet different versions of Doctor Strange, and I like all of them. It's really cool, and seeing them interact and just all the things that come with the multiverse existing and traveling through the multiverse. I love it. And it just basically it allows anything to be possible. So yes, so many things happened, and there were some cameos, and they actually introduced some new heroes that we haven't seen before, as well as introducing variants, or I guess, is variants the right term? Different versions, I suppose, is probably a better word for it. Different versions of characters that we already did know, and I loved it so much. The overall plot was good, and they were able to, with this confusing of a topic, they were able to explain the story and where the movie was, how the movie was progressing. They explained that really well, so it wasn't too confusing. So that's confusion is not why my brain wants to explode. It's all of the stuff that happened. The villain was phenomenal. I can't, they were great. And it was awesome. Okay, trying to think what else I can say that doesn't involve spoilers, because this has been like a short, maybe 2-minute thing, possibly 3-minute at this point, which I would love to give you guys more information and more of my opinions, but all of my opinions involve spoilers because everything is a spoiler. Okay. So overall, for spoiler-free section, it was fantastic. Go watch it. It was so good. I love so many things about it. Just the exploring the multiverse and realizing just how much is actually exists in the MCU now, and how far this universe has expanded into, other universes. And just, it was so cool. And it was darker than all the other Marvel movies, which was the point of it. But it really was so much darker. And I'm the weird person that loves that. It was great. Okay, so at this time, if you have not watched the movie, I would ask you, beg you honestly, to leave so you do not get any spoilers from the rest of this video, because I would hate to spoil this movie for you because it's fantastic, and experiencing it for the first time in the theaters with no foreknowledge is incredible. Incredible, and I do not want to take that away from any of you. So if you have not watched the movie, now is your time to leave. Okay, so for those of you who have watched the movie, or I guess haven't watched the movie, don't care about spoilers, or just will not watch the movie and are super curious, I know one person at least, this is the rest of this video. It's for you guys, and we will be talking about a bunch of different spoilers and comments in there. Probably put spoiler warnings in front of your comments, I guess, even though I feel like this early on, it should be implied that if you don't want spoilers for this movie, don't look at the comment section of a video about this movie. But anyway, just, yeah, be somewhat considerate of those who have not watched the movie who might be watching this video. Put spoiler warnings, whatever. If they want to read it, then that's their own opinion. That's of their own accord. And if they get a spoiler, it's their own fault because you put a spoiler warning. Anyway, I'm going to try and go somewhat in order so I have some sort of organization to this. But after I watched this movie, my brain was so all over the place that it may bleed through in this video. Okay, so starting from beginning, first of all, I honestly love the theory that when you dream, you go into the mind of one of the other versions of yourself, and that theory that about you, basically your mind traveling across the multiverse when you dream. That was just a really cool theory to me. And, you know, makes... And then, of course, while making the joke about, you know, being chased by a clown being one of his dreams. And apparently, because of that theory, which is, in this movie, proven to be true, that actually happens in a universe. So it's a really cool concept, but it also makes you realize that your most ridiculous dreams then would be actually happening in another universe, which is hilarious. Then, America, I might butcher her last name, sorry. Is it Chavez or Chavez? I think it's more pronounced Chavez, but I might be wrong. If I'm pronouncing it very wrong, which is entirely possible, please just comment like a little parentheses thing with what it's supposed to sound like. I'm sorry if I did. Anyway, her character was good, yeah. I mean, I didn't get overly attached to her, but I mean, it's not like a character that I didn't care about or that I hated her at all. She did have some depth and she was portrayed well, and just not necessarily one of those characters that I immediately fall in love with, which is, I mean, a lot of characters are like that. It's just, for me, not a Nico D'Angelo situation where I don't care about her at all, and it's definitely not a Rondon situation where I absolutely hate her guts. She's kind of like, okay, you're a good character. I could potentially care about her less. I really could, but she's definitely not like up there with my favorite Marvel characters. Anyway, rambling. Her power was really cool. The inter-universal, I guess would be the term I have to use. Portals being shaped like stars, and how it kind of around the edges, it almost looks a little bit like broken glass, which was kind of how they designed the multiverse breaking in No Way Home, with like the rifts opening in the sky look kind of like broken glass. So I like that they keep that theme of when you are crossing the multiverse, it kind of looks like shattered glass. That was cool. I definitely prefer the fact that Wanda is the villain right out of the gate from the beginning versus what the trailers kind of led you to believe was she joined Doctor Strange, helped him with his mission, and then eventually through it almost seemed like eventually through meeting the different versions of herself, she grew to be the villain. That is not at all what happened. That is something I will give props to the trailer people for, is they were very good at misleading us. Basically none of the scenes that we saw in the trailers happened the way I thought they would in the movie. And that was fantastic. I honestly love that I was basically left in the dark. Like you think you figure out kind of what the plot's supposed to do, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, that's not how that scene was supposed to go in my head. And like, that's not how that scene went in my head at all. And I love that was how that worked out, because I like being surprised by movies. Unlike, like I've talked about how I will see plot twists coming in a story, or and it's no longer a plot twist to me because I saw it coming like a mile away. So I genuinely enjoy being surprised by a movie and what happened. So this was just, I was basically in heaven during this entire movie because I didn't know anything. I realized very early on, like immediately when Wanda drops her hex and goes like, yeah, no, the hard part was lying, and realizing she is the villain from the beginning was fantastic. And throughout the entire movie, I realized at that moment I don't know anything, and it was great. Then going, I get immediately to her attack on, oh crap, I can never remember what the sorcerer's place is called. Please comment on what the name of the sorcerer's base is, because I can't. Camartage! I figured it out. It really annoys me when I can't think of a name. Camartage. When she attacks and gets into the head of just the one guy because she can't get through the shield, and just because she hasn't used a whole lot of mind games in the last couple movies. Like, she's done a lot with her telekinesis, but not a whole lot with her, I guess, telepathy. It's not exactly telepathy, but it kind of is. But yeah, so it was really good to see her use that again. That was really cool. Watching her go full villain and just slaughtering over half of the sorcerers was fantastic. Oh, I had so much fun with that. And then they trap her in basically a mirror dimension cage, which was awesome. She just steps on a plate. Basically, she gets trapped in a mirror dimension. Are you kidding me? That was so clever. I loved it. And then, of course, she figures out how to use her freaking reflection to escape, and she's traveling through reflective surfaces and just dragging people in. Oh, that was fantastic. I loved it. Her using the reflections was awesome. Okay. And then the universe they travel to with the Illuminati, what was it, like 803 or something? That might have been the number that they gave themselves. I don't remember exactly what number they gave themselves. It was 800 something. But the entire time they spent in that universe was just like my favorite part of the movie was that entire, like, everything that happened in there. Because first of all, the friggin' Illuminati. Okay, it was, Sir Patrick Stewart. I'm pretty sure I got the actor's name right. Friggin' Charles Xavier from the X-Men movies in his 90s cartoon hover chair. And then Black Bolt. I'm pretty sure I got his name right. I feel like I always get his name wrong when I say it, but Black Bolt. Never heard of that hero. but it was awesome. So his power reminds me of Black Canary, only a step further. So anything he says turns into basically a canary cry, whereas she has the voluntary version of basically his power, and I love it. He was awesome. And then Captain freaking Carter. Oh, I was not the biggest fan of What If, just because I feel like over half the episodes weren't great. They had like 3 episodes that were good. One of them was Captain Carter. I loved the concept of her storyline, and that episode was done well, and I loved that she showed up and that it was the same actress that plays Peggy, and it was fantastic. I couldn't. Mordo came back, and that was great. And then I mean I couldn't care less about the Captain Marvel, the different version of Captain Marvel. I don't really care that much about Captain Marvel as a hero, so I didn't really give a crap about her. But John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. That was my brother's dream casting for Mr. Fantastic. And he got what he wanted. And because of him showing up in Multiverse of Madness as Mr. Fantastic, it's basically confirmed now that he's gonna be Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four movie. So we were just losing our minds at this entire scene with the Illuminati coming in. So the entire moment of their introductions, me and my brother were losing our minds. So yes, I love that. And dream walking, I love that. Being able to possessing a different version of yourself. So obviously, Wanda doing that, and the concept of her, she's sending demons after you. That's her being reasonable. Now she's gonna come after you herself by possessing a different version of herself. And of course, the deaths of basically every Illuminati member actually, all of them died, some of them in more gruesome ways than others. This sounds horrible. I love Black Bolt's death. It was so gruesome and so clever, and I loved it. He's just Wanda going, what mouth? And him going down and seeing his face without a mouth. And it's like, that's so cool. She's manipulating reality. And then you hear his muffled, screaming and him freaking out. It's like, oh no. And he blew up his own brain. I can't. It was like the best death in that entire movie. It was so great. Oh, I sound like a sadist, but it was awesome. Oh, then Mr. Fantastic turned into string cheese. That one was less gruesome. It was almost a little more comical. I mean, it wasn't funny in the moment. No, it was kind of horrifying in the moment. But when you look back at what actually happened, it was kind of comical. Yeah. Captain Carter is freaking bisected by her own shield. Oh, and my oldest brother, not the one that I watched it with. He watched it earlier in the day, but he was a little annoyed with how long she lasted. I mean, I understand why they did it, because she had a What If episode, so basically she has more recognition, so they kept her in longer. And I guess it kind of makes sense if Wanda takes out the biggest threats first, which would be Black Bolt and I guess Mr. Fantastic. It's fine. He's kind of the leader he kind of seems to take a lead role in the Illuminati. So taking out their leadership, which throws them off guard, taking out probably the biggest threat. And then that leaves Captain Marvel and Captain Carter. And that, I mean, Captain Carter did last longer than Captain Marvel at least, so it's not like, oh, I'm the last standing. But anyway, I almost think it might have also been a little bit of a feminist scene. She killed both the guys first and then the girls, but I don't know. That's probably not. I'm probably reading way too far into it, but when it was just them left and they both survived, and one of them, was freaking Captain Carter, who doesn't technically have any superpowers, really. I mean, she's a super soldier, but compared to other heroes, she doesn't have a huge superpower, a huge advantage against the freaking Scarlet Witch. So yeah, that's the only reason I'm like, oh, was that being a little bit feminist? I don't know. She got cut in half though, so I'm fine. I'm fine with it. They're forgiven. And Captain Marvel got crushed by a statue. That wasn't super, that was one of the less cool deaths, I guess. It was more anticlimactic than some of the other deaths. It was more anticlimactic than all of the other. It was probably ranking the deaths of the Illuminati. It was all the way down here, and the rest are above it because the rest of them were so much cooler. Charles gets freaking psychically. Sorry, reword that sentence. I'm sorry. Gets his neck broken psychically. He literally gets his neck broken from inside his own mind. Oh, that was fantastic. I mean, my brother pointed out that it's the third time we've watched Sir Patrick Stewart die as Charles Xavier. Once was X-Men Last Stand, then in Logan, and now in Multiverse of Madness. So it's yeah, that character doesn't have really very good luck. Oh, poor dude. But it was awesome. Now we'll jump back to what was happening with Wong during that time, because that's chronologically happened before all this. The temple, basically, to Scarlet Witch, where the Darkhold was transcribed. That's just a cool setting in general. And then Wong getting freaking thrown off a cliff. I mean, he fell, and I mean, it's tried to be, I guess it's supposed to be like, oh no, is he dead? But I was like, they don't show us his body. They don't show us they don't show him actually dying. So I assumed he was alive. I was just like, no, he's probably not dead. He fell off a cliff, yes, but he's probably not dead. Just the way the scene went, and not seeing his dead body or seeing him hit and just die. So I knew he would survive that, because no, they're not going to kill Wong. And in all of these movies, I feel like the only movie where they've actually killed a main character, or one of the bigger characters in the movie, is Endgame. I guess technically Infinity War, but they all came back, so that all got retconned. So the only movie where one of them actually died and stayed dead was Tony, and I guess technically Steve. I don't know if he's actually dead yet, because we saw him as an old man, but that doesn't mean he died yet. He could just still be alive as an old man. Anyway, I am off topic. Yes, I love the temple. That was really cool. And just the concept of it's like, this was built for the Scarlet Witch as basically a way for her to have a nexus, I guess, for her power, so that she can take over or destroy the multiverse. So that was a really cool setting and a really cool concept, and these giant beasts that just come out and bow to her was... Okay, where am I at? I am at getting to the book of, it started with an N. If you remember what the book of goodness is called, I don't remember the exact name. You can comment that below, because I don't remember what it's called. Anyway, them getting there, and, Wanda gets attacked. Wanda controlling, first of all, she destroys the book. It's like, this is supposed to be her only hope. That within 5 seconds, it's gone, which just shows how powerful Wanda is. And then she controls America's mind to send Christine and Stephen to a universe where the two realities collided, created an incursion. I think that's the word they used. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yes, just that was a cool universe to see. Just kind of the destruction, and there's nobody there except the Doctor Strange that survived. Because, it's Doctor Strange. He's freaking magic. He would survive it. It's like when the What If episode where he, turns evil to try and save Christine from dying. And he survived the entire universe collapsing. And he's just there alone. So it's not at all far-fetched that he would survive two realities colliding. Okay. Anyway. Gather my thoughts. I'm sorry. Anyway, we're going to talk about that then. We're going to keep talking about that. Follow that storyline. Then we'll go back to... Yeah. Sorry. I'm organizing this in my brain as we go along because you don't want to know what's going up there. It's craziness. Anyway. Seeing that universe was really cool. And like him walking into the sanctum, and it looks like this stairwell to nowhere, and it's just surrounded by water inside of this normal sized building. Just the whole idea, it's like, oh, it's like bigger on the inside than on the outside. What? That was a very cool setting. And then, the music fight, where they're literally using magical music notes to fight, and that was such a cool battle. I love just the clashing music notes and it's like notes turned into blades, and they're using literally oh gosh, I'm blanking on the word of the music stuff too. Oh, it was great. I loved it. That was just a fantastic scene, and it was such a cool fight. And then guys, we saw zombie Doctor Strange in the trailers, and we immediately thought they'd go to the universe where with the zombie outbreak, and it's just we get to see Marvel zombies. But were we off. I never expected him to dreamwalk and possess his own freaking corpse. He was talking about dreamwalking to get back to his universe. And me and my brother both were just like, okay, how is he going to do that? There's no version of him in that universe right now. And then he goes, it never said. We had both at this point, with everything that was happening, forgot that he buried a version of himself on a roof. So he said, when he goes, who said the host had to be living? I was just like, oh my gosh. And then we got Zombie Strange, who gets attacked by spirits. He gets attacked by freaking spirits. Evil spirits. They're just, I think it was straight up the souls of the damned, which he warned Christine about. And they attack him because I guess he's probably disturbing their remains, probably disturbs the spirits, I guess, something like that. Anyway, they're literally attacking him, and that whole sequence of that was a really cool, getting with the demons and stuff, and then him figuring out how to control them and turning them into his cape. my gosh, the entire last sequence with him fighting as a zombie version of himself, and oh, that was fantastic. And then obviously America shows Wanda what would actually happen if her plan succeeded, which, you know, her children being terrified of her and all of that. And yeah, the scene with her, with the different version of her, it's the one that she possessed, which makes it even better. Which is probably why the plan worked anyway. Anyway, Mom, I'm muttering to myself. I'm sorry. But that scene where she's like, you know, touching her face and stuff, not at all what I thought that scene was gonna be. Because, like I said before, I got into the play-by-play breakdown, sorry. I said I thought she was gonna start out good, and then, you know, as they met, different versions of her turned bad because the different versions of her are bad. But no, the different versions of her are actually good and have a family. And so that whole scene with those two versions of Wanda went very different than what I expected them, how I expected it to go. And like I said, I prefer that she started as a villain and went through the movie. And then, you know, Wanda technically still being Wanda deep down, you know, over the grief of losing her children and the corruption of the Darkhold, realizes her mistakes, which I have heard people complain that it's just the same plot line for her arc for her as in WandaVision. I mean, it's true, but it's also, I mean, it makes sense. She realizes her mistakes and like fixes it, but that doesn't mean she got over it. And it kind of stops her. I mean, it seems like she resolves it, but it also kind of stops in the middle of that because if you watch the post-credit scene for the last episode, she's looking for her children with the Darkhold, and her, you know, like hearing their voices and realize it kind of stops her in the middle of it. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't see a problem with it. I really enjoyed the movie, and yeah, anyway, but yeah, then she just like straight up dies. She destroys the Darkhold in every universe, which again just shows how powerful she is. And yeah, just dies. Which is honest. I mean, at that point, my brother and I agreed she deserved it. She had earned basically a death sentence if it was in legal terms. And so honestly, at this point, I'm just gonna believe she's dead. With how powerful she is, I guess it isn't entirely impossible for her to have survived, but I feel like given everything that happened in the movie and with her realization and being like, holy crap, everything I did, she probably let herself die. So if Wanda comes back in any of the other movies, it will probably be as like a version of her from a different universe, which is, we know it's possible now. So I feel like if the Scarlet Witch comes back, it will be in that way versus the original, the Wanda from like our universe coming back, or the main universe coming back. Just given how things went, I don't think that Wanda is coming back. But yeah, that was, yeah. Again, everything in this movie wasn't expected, which was refreshing. So that was a great ending. And then Strange suffering the consequences of using the Darkhold and gets that third eye, whatever that does. And, you know, there's probably going to be maybe some more consequences. Probably not huge, just because he only used it once and then immediately the Darkhold got destroyed. So, yeah, whatever the third eye does, we'll figure that out probably in the next one. And then, the post-credit scene. Well, the first one. The second one was just the guy stopped punching himself. The first one, nobody I was with knew who the character was when she showed up and took him through a portal because he'd caused an incursion. Ha, fun times. But he figured it out, looked it up. It's freaking Doctor Strange's wife. I think her name is Clea Strange. Dr. Clea Strange. It's Stephen Strange's wife. So either the main version's future wife or a different version of one of his different versions' wife. And yeah, that was just like, no, that's just straight up his wife, which is very cool. And honestly gets me really excited for the third one because one, it's him fixing a multiversal incursion. So stopping two realities from destroying each other, which will be very interesting to see. But also him interacting with his wife, either from a different universe or from in the future, either their relationship growing into a romance where they get married or him just interacting with another version of himself's spouse, which will be very interesting. And yeah, I'm interested to see what exactly that relationship will bring, whether it is his wife or another version's wife, and how them interacting will be. And yeah, that's just very interesting concept to me, and figuring out the details of that and how they interact, and just again seeing more of the multiverse and learning more about incursions will be interesting. But yeah, no idea when the third one would be coming out, but I'm actually very excited about it, or whatever movie I guess that it would happen in, because I guess it's possible that would happen in a different heroes movie and they just cross over and explain that. But I have a feeling it's going to be a Doctor Strange movie because he's off somewhere in the multiverse and the rest of our heroes are in our universe, or are the main universe. So we'll see what happens there. That'll be very interesting for me to at least in my opinion to see. I think I got everything. Feel free to nerd out, share your favorite moments, share possibly any problem. If you had like a problem with the movie, or like you saw a mistake or something, it'd be interesting. You can point that out. Share your opinions, I guess. Favorite characters, favorite universe that we saw. Because I know there's like some crazy ones, like there's a paint universe, there was a cartoon animated universe. So just favorite characters, favorite moments, just your opinions on it, what you had a problem with. Yeah, I don't know, just basically share your thoughts in the comments, whatever you thought about the movie. Again, please show courtesy to those who haven't watched it yet, since it only came out last Friday, which is only like 3-4 days ago. Yeah, it would be 3-4 days ago because it came out Thursday night. Put spoiler warnings if you're gonna share something super major. At least, for the next week or two, so that people have a chance to watch it before, you go spoiling the biggest thing in the movie. Like, I don't know, what would the biggest thing in this movie be? Wanda dying? Would that be the biggest spoiler for this movie? There's so many things that I don't know what would be the biggest spoiler for this movie. I guess you can share what you think the biggest spoiler is. But of course, putting all caps, spoiler warning for that, if you're going to do that. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the movie. I absolutely loved it. It's definitely one of my favorite Marvel movies. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Was almost like kind of overwhelmed with how much stuff happened. I mean, I feel like there were definitely rumors for a lot more happening, but there's only so much you can put in even a 3-hour movie. So, oh, it was so fun. It was so fun to watch, and I loved it. So, those are my thoughts. Feel free to share your thoughts. I actually also watched another movie, Secrets of Dumbledore, this weekend as well, so I may or may not do a review on that one. Or even just the Fantastic Beasts franchise in general, just because I haven't done anything for the previous 2 movies anyway. So we can maybe keep an eye out for that. If you have, I guess, ideas for what I could do for these videos, like reviews or things that you think I should watch or read, I'd love to hear those. Yeah. Again, just share your thoughts. Feel free to nerd out as much as you want. I will be right there with you. So, yeah. I guess I will see you all later.